Yeah. June 2022, paper 3, variant 3. يلا. أول question هنا this is a race. Suggest what equipment the teacher uses to measure the length of 25 meters. What is the suitable equipment that the teacher should use to measure these 25 meters? يلا قول.
measuring
measuring
tape.
tape.
Yes, طبعا measuring tape. Um, if someone actually solved this question before and opened the marking scheme, هيلاقي in the marking scheme wrote down meter ruler. Is meter ruler correct? لا, it's wrong. Okay. Is meter ruler correct? لا, it is wrong. Actually, the right answer for this question is measuring tape. Is the marking scheme wrong? Yes, the marking scheme is wrong. Okay. طيب. Determine the total distance for the race. هنا what should they do? Children about to run a race, they have 25 meters. Pick up a small plastic ring and run back to the baseline. What is the total distance for this
50
race?
meters.
Yes, 50 meters. ليه؟
50.
عشان they ran all the way and got the plastic ring and then ran back. يبقى basically 25 times 2, which is 50 meters. Correct. طيب. يلا احنا we need to draw بقى. The teacher records the following information for one of the children. The child starts to run at time equals 0. The child picks up the ring at time 9. The child finishes the race at time 17 seconds. The highest speed occurs as the child finishes the race. This is quite a tricky question. على فكرة, this is quite a tricky question, a tricky graph worth 3 marks. The child starts at a time 0. He picks up the ring at time 9 seconds, and then he finishes the race at 17 seconds. What should we do? Oh, how should we plot this graph?
هنجيب السبيد بتاع الشايلد الفيرست 9 seconds هنعمل speed equals distance over time.
طيب, speed equals distance over time. طيب, هو بصوا this is يعني ايه again I'm telling you this is a tricky question. When he picks بصوا كده, when he picks up the ring at time 9 seconds, what is his speed when he's picking up the ring? يعني I went and I picked up the ring. What should my speed be at that time? What should my speed be when I'm picking up the ring? يعني I reached the end of the line and I picked up the ring. Shouldn't my speed be equal to 0? صح. يعني when I'm picking up the ring I ran all the way towards the end of the race or the end of the line. I picked up the ring. Shouldn't my speed be equal to 0? Yes, it should be equal to 0. Whenever I pick up the ring, يعني initially my speed was 0. Yes. I ran all the way towards the end of the race and I picked up the ring. يعني at time 9 seconds when I'm picking up the ring, the speed should return back to 0. هنا at 9 seconds the speed should ايه ده, طب what about يعني in between, how should his speed be? Okay, what should the speed be? Basically, he increased his speed. Moment, you need to think about it, okay? You need to think. This is a very, very complicated question. I know, okay? It's a very complicated question, but let's think about it. Does he have a constant speed? لا, he doesn't have a constant speed. ليه؟ بصوا كده. As I'm going towards the ring, okay? I will run towards the ring, and then he has to decelerate. Why does he have to decelerate? In order to reach time at time 9 seconds, my speed has to be 0 because I will stop and pick up the ring. Okay, I will stop at time 9 seconds and pick up the ring. So I started the race at 0. I increased my speed, and towards the end of the line, I had to stop or I had to decrease my speed as I was decreasing my speed, oh, the line is curving downwards. طب يا مستر, what if I draw it as a constant acceleration upwards and a constant deceleration downwards? It doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't really matter in this question. But what I need to see is the speed increases and then the speed decreases. Constant line, constant slope, okay? Curving slope, whatever, I do not care. He didn't state it, it doesn't matter that much. But what matters is that at time 9 seconds, his speed is what? His speed must reach zero. Why? Because he will stop for whatever, يعني even for a microsecond, he will stop. He will pick up the ring and then go back. And then, okay, and then what happens to his speed? Then he goes back and he increases his speed towards the end of the line while moving in the opposite direction. Oh, يبقى his highest speed occurs as the child finishes the race. And he finishes the race at 17 seconds. فين 17 seconds? Oh, 15 دي 16 وهنا 17. يبقى at this point
بس
he
انا عندي
finished.
سؤال. هو احنا يعني جبنا السبيد ازاي
ما هو
من
جينا سبيد ازاي؟ هو the whole point is ان هو طب يا مستر what if عملتها كده؟ ممكن اعملها كده؟ yes. ممكن yes you can draw. طب يا مستر انا I want to draw it as a straight line كده and then a straight line كده. ممكن yes. Okay, whatever speed. هو he did not state his speed. Did he state the speed? No, he didn't state the speed. يبقى whatever speed you will do, whatever curve بقى straight line, it does not really matter. What matters is that it increases and then decreases. And it has to decrease to zero. Oh, it must reach zero at what? At time 9 seconds. Oh, can someone يعني ممكن حد يعملها كده? Yes, I can do it like this. عادي. It's okay. It's okay يا شباب. It's a very difficult question. It's a very tricky question. بس عادي. We're gonna learn together. Okay? طيب. At time 17 seconds, that was the end of his race. He had his maximum speed. يبقى his maximum speed, I can draw a straight line كده. Okay, until I reach 17 seconds هنا, for example. At this point, he had the maximum speed, صح? At this point, he had the maximum speed. خلاص يبقى كده. This is correct. طب يا مستر, what if I curve it upwards? ممكن أعمله a line curved upwards? Okay, you can draw a line curved upwards. It's okay. يبقى whatever يا شباب you draw, and again, he did not state constant acceleration ولا non-uniform acceleration or nothing. He did not state it. خلاص يبقى I will draw whatever I want. طب what is his maximum final speed? It does not matter. Again, شباب, did he write down any numbers هنا at the speed? يعني did he write, for example, 5, 10, 15, 20? لا, he did not state any numbers. That's why it's open. Okay, it's up to you. You can draw whatever speed you want initially and finally. Okay, but the thing that matters is at time 17 seconds, his speed must be the maximum. His highest speed occurs when he finishes the race. But when does he finish the race? At time 17 seconds. That's the whole point. Okay, Mr. It's a tricky question. Will I ever يعني have this question in my exam? Our exams are variant one. Will we ever have any very very tricky questions as this one? لا خالص. Don't يعني ما تقلقوش, okay? Never will we ever see any questions as difficult as these in our questions in our final exams, inshallah. Okay, that's it. Okay, that's it for this question. طيب, moving on to a much easier question. Okay, determine how many seconds there are in 4 minutes and 20 seconds. How many seconds are there? Hmm. ها. ها.
260.
260. Yes, طبعا 4 times ال 60 plus 20 seconds. 4 times 60 is 240 plus 20, which is 260 seconds. حلو. Next question. Calculate the average speed. How can I find the average speed يا شباب؟
Total distance over total time.
طبعا average speed equals total distance over total time. The total distance is what? 500 meters. And the total time, خلاص احنا we found it in seconds. 260 seconds. يبقى the speed will be كام؟
مستر معانا 500 مليون
1.92.
1.9 او 1.92 meters per second. ال 500 اهي. This is the 500 meters distance, total distance. طيب
يعني عرفنا منين التوتال ديستانس؟
هو he
مكتوب.
said in a different race a child runs 500 meters in 4
ماشي
minutes and 20 seconds. ماشي. يلا next question. هنا block A is lifted by a motor, block B is lifted by a person. Complete the following sentences. As the motor starts turning, it usefully transfers what energy to what energy?
electric to kinetic.
Electric to kinetic. حلو. Correct. طيب يا مستر, this block is moving upwards. صح? It's moving upwards. Can I say that the useful energy output is gravitational potential energy? Yes. You can say gravitational potential energy. Okay. Okay.
مستر
Potential.
احنا كده هنكتب gravitation and potential في اللي بعدها.
Yes. You can write it both. You can يعني both of them you can write gravitation potential أو you can write هنا kinetic energy and you can write a kinetic. Okay, you can write هنا kinetic energy and then the next one gravitation potential energy. It's okay. Okay. بس again they are both correct. علشان if someone wants to write down هنا gravitation potential it's okay. بس both blocks gain ايه طبعا definitely they both gain gravitational potential energy. شباب الموتور it usually transfers what it has to transfer electric energy. Okay, the input energy for the motor is what? The input energy for the motor is electrical, not kinetic. Okay, the output of the electric motor is kinetic. Yes, okay, it's correct. طيب both blocks are lifted at the same steady speed. The blocks are then held at a height of 3 meters. خلاص, they are both held at a height of 3 meters. Compare the energy gained by block A with the energy gained by block B.
They're the
the
they're the
same.
same.
Same, صح? Why is it the same energy? The same, they are equal. Why are
the
they
same
equal?
عشان they both
distance
have the same
over
mass.
same distance times the same force.
صح, the same distance and the same mass. Okay, أو the same force if you want to calculate work done equals force times distance. Yes, they both moved the same distance and they both had the same weight. يبقى finally they will both have the same they will both have the same final energy gained. طيب explain why the energy input to the motor is more than the energy gained by block A. Why is the energy input to the motor more than the energy gained by block A?
عشان some energy is lost as thermal energy to the surroundings و some is مثلا lost as sound energy ولا حاجة.
Some energy is lost. صح. Some energy is lost. What type of energy? We can say that some energy is lost as heat energy to the surroundings, correct? Due to friction. Okay. Oh, some energy is lost. يا شباب دايما كده. This question is repeated يعني. Okay. In many exams, the same question is repeated. Why is the input energy always greater than the output energy? It has to do with the efficiency. Okay. What do I mean by the efficiency? That some energy is wasted, some energy is lost. Where is this energy lost? It's lost to the environment. As what? As thermal energy or as heat energy. Okay. Why is there energy lost to the environment? Why is there heat energy lost to the environment? Due to what? Due to friction. Okay. Due to friction. There is friction in the motor. Yes, the motor moves. But whatever thing, anything that moves, it has to experience some friction. Friction بقى between two touching surfaces, between um يعني if I say two touching surfaces or between air resistance. ما air resistance is a type of friction. Okay. يبقى these are all يعني energy أو يعني how can we say it? We can these are all types of wasted energies to the environment due to friction and due to air resistance. ماشي. Good. An engineer determines the power output for the motor. State three measurements the engineer needs to determine to find the power output. How can I measure the power output يا شباب؟
ممكن مثلا current
Current, okay.
و voltage.
Oh, voltage, okay. بص يعني you're talking about electrical power, which is correct. Okay, if I ask you about the electrical power, your answer would be 100% correct because we need the current and the voltage. بس هنا I'm not asking about the electrical power. I'm asking about I need the mechanical power. Okay, to find the mechanical power, how do I measure or how do I calculate the mechanical power يا شباب؟ ها? Can someone remind me?
work done اللي هو energy.
Yes, work done over
يعني work done over time فعايزين
time.
time
Yes,
و
done over time.
distance و
Yes.
force.
يبقى force times distance. يبقى we need three things. يبقى we need the force, we need the distance, and we need the time. صح كده؟ برافو عليكم. Okay, how can I calculate the density? يلا, density equals
mass over
mass
volume.
over
yes. Density equals mass over volume. الماss is طبعا 70 kilograms. The volume is 0.0089.
7,865.
حلو. 7,865. 7,865 يعني we can round it up to 70. Okay, 7,870. ايه ده يا مستر؟ هو it's 7,865. Mister, in the marking scheme it's written down as 7,900. Is that wrong? لا, it's right. Okay, it's right. If you write it down as 7,870, okay, 7,900, okay. يعني احنا again we need as much as possible, okay, as much as possible. We need to write down the only the final answer in two or three significant figures, okay, as much as possible يا شباب. طيب, good. Moving on to the next question. This vehicle has 4 snow tracks. Explain why the snow tracks are better than wheels for traveling in the snow.
ال snow tracks عندهم larger surface area. ف this decreases the pressure onto the ground. It avoids the tractor from sinking.
صح, large surface area inversely proportional to pressure. ماشي, large surface area. Okay, it is inversely proportional to the pressure. بس احنا we will not write down inversely proportional كده وخلاص. احنا we need to explain what do I mean by inversely proportional. Because as I increase the surface area, what happens to the pressure? Pressure decreases. اهو pressure decreases. It will not sink in. Oh, it doesn't sink in the snow. ماشي, حلو. The weight of the vehicle is 4,000 newtons. Calculate the mass.
4,000 weight
قول.
times gravitational acceleration.
Weight times the gravitational acceleration.
لا divide.
Divide, صح. يبقى mass equals weight over g. Weight, 4,000 over g. What's the g?
9.8.
9.8.
9.8. يلا. الماس would be كام؟ 400 وشوية. 400 and
408.
408 kilograms. ماشي. ماشي. The area of each snow track is in contact with the ground is 2 meters squared. Each snow track supports a quarter of the weight of the vehicle. Calculate the pressure exerted on the ground and include the unit. حلو أوي.
هنجيب الاريا بتاعت اللي هو all four snow tracks.
يبقى total area. Yes, الأول I have to say that the total area is what?
2.0 meters cube times 4
لا مش cubed. مين قال cubed؟ لا مش cubed. 2 times
squared معلش
4.
times 4
Okay. 2 times 4 بس 2 times why 2 times 4. ايه ده يا مستر؟ he didn't say that it has 4 wheels. بس بصوا, each snow track supports a quarter. Okay, it supports a quarter of the weight. What do I mean by it supports a quarter of the weight? Meaning that have to have 4 of them to support the total weight. Your total weight or total area now is 8 meters squared. Pressure equals force over area. صح. Yes, pressure equals force over الarea. The total force now is what? 408?
لا 4000
4000 صح. طب total force is the weight صح, which is 4000 divided by 8. This would give me how much? 500. What's the unit?
500
Hmm.
ممكن على ما أظن نكتب حاجتين يا باسكال يا نيوتن per meter square.
Square صح. Again شباب, in this case فعلا we can write down one of two units. We can either write down Pascal or we can write down Newton per meter squared. Okay. In other cases, in other questions, the unit of the area was in centimeters squared. يعني for example, he could tell me, والله the total area is 50 centimeters squared. The area of one wheel is 50 centimeters squared. In this case, the unit of the pressure has to be in newtons per centimeter squared. You cannot, and again, I'm telling you, you cannot write it down as pascals in that case if the area was in centimeters squared. Okay. If the area is in meters squared, yes, we can write it down as Pascal. Okay. ماشي. طيب, state and explain one application of thermal expansion. You may draw a diagram. Now we need one application of thermal expansion.
ممكن biometallic strips أو thermometers.
By metallic strips or thermometers. طبعا thermometers is لا, train tracks is not an application. Train tracks is a consequence. Train tracks is a disadvantage. Okay, الريلز برضو. Okay, they are a disadvantage يا شباب of the thermal expansion. احنا we need an application, a useful, okay, a useful application for the thermal expansion. What is a useful application for the thermal expansion? Of course, the thermometers or the bimetallic strip. Okay. يعني I can say thermometers, for example. Oh, we can say that the liquid inside the thermometer, okay, liquid inside the thermometer expands. When does it expand? Due to the heat supplied. بس.
وأنا مش لازم أجيب سيرة البارتكلز هنا وإن they move apart ولا مش
لا
هتفرق.
لا 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 لا. It's only 2 marks. Okay, it's only 2 marks. فاحنا we can just write down ان هو ايه, liquid inside expands due to the heat supply. This is the thermometer, or this is the application of the thermometer. Again, you can write any simple application, any simple useful advantage of the thermal expansion. Okay, yeah. Moving on to the next question. حلو. Initially, the flask and air are at okay. Initially, the flask and the air are at room temperature. The flask is then cooled in a refrigerator. It's cooled. State the change in the pressure as it cools.
pressure decreases.
The pressure will decrease. Yes. Pressure decreases. ايه ده؟ ليه? Why?
As temperature decreases السبيد بتاع الموليكيولز والفورس يعني اللي بيهت المولكيولز هيبقى بدل ما faster and harder هيبقى weaker و less frequent. ف the pressure will the force exerted on the sides of the container will decrease, so the pressure will decrease.
حلو. Again, بص يا شباب, it all has to do with the temperature, okay? As the air cools, what happens to the temperature? Temperature decreases. طيب, the temperature is always the same as the kinetic energy. So as the temperature decreases, the kinetic energy, kinetic energy of the molecules, of the air molecules, decreases. طيب, when the kinetic energy of the air molecules decreases, what happens? They move, okay, او they hit the walls. خلينا نتكلم بقى ايه. They hit the walls slower, okay, with a less force, a less force, and less frequently. يبقى that's the whole point. ان هما they lose kinetic energy, so now they're moving at a slower speed and they're hitting the walls less frequently, not as much. Of course, then the total pressure will decrease, and that's why we wrote down in I that the pressure decreases. حلو. ماشي. ماشي. Moving on to the next question. The engineer measures the temperature in each tank. State the name of the instrument used to measure the temperature.
Thermometer.
طبعا thermometer, yes. State the name of the process that transfers thermal energy from the sun to the white plastic pipe.
Infrared radiation.
Yes, bravo. Infrared radiation. أهو. State the name of the process that transfers thermal energy through the plastic wall of the pipe.
Conduction.
Yes, bravo. أهو conduction. أيوة كده الناس صحت. يلا conduction. Okay, it's quite easy. خلي بالكم, when I say through the plastic wall, through the solid, يبقى whenever I'm talking about a solid, يبقى it has to be conduction. Yes. The engineer wants to increase the thermal energy absorbed by the water in the pipe. Suggest two improvements he can make to increase the thermal energy absorbed by the pipe. يلا. We need two.
paint black. Painted black.
برافو عليك. Yes, painted black. أهو. ليه؟ What's the explanation?
بس emitter. بس
absorber. صح. Do not say emitter هنا. It's the best absorber of what? يلا. Best absorber of
infrared radiation.
yes, برافو. اهو best absorber of طب ليه هنا يا شباب؟ هنا why is it wrong to say best emitter?
عشان الكونتينر فيها cold water.
So it has cold water. فالcold water, it absorbs the infrared radiation. It needs to gain more heat. It will not give off heat to the environment. It's a cold. It's already cold. فهو يعني if something's cold, how can it give off energy? لا, it cannot. It needs to absorb energy. What's another improvement?
Use a metal container.
Yes. Use a metal. Oh, هنا I'm talking about the pipes. Okay. I can just write down use metal pipes. طيب. Why metal pipes?
Good conductors of heat.
Good conductors. يلا. Use metal pipes. نقول له ايه good conductors.
مصر. طب لو انا قلت احط حاجة شايني كده عشان ترفلكت الانفراريد راديشن، صح؟
ماشي. ماشي. اوكي. اوكي, لو تقول shiny عشان to reflect the infrared radiation, ماشي, it's okay. It's okay. اوكي بس يعني خلي بالك احنا مش عايزين، احنا we don't want write things اللي هو answers that might be right and might be wrong. احنا we need to write down answers that we know 100% that they will be right. Okay. But what answers احنا we know that 100% they will be right is that if I paint it black. Why will I paint it black or dull black? Because black is the best absorber. خلاص this is 100% correct. طيب what about الميتال؟ metal is 100% correct that الميتال will be a better conductor of thermal radiation or sorry of energy of heat energy. Okay. طب what about the foil or the shiny surface behind it? A shiny surface behind it, it would be correct because it reflects. Is it always correct? لا, it's not always. Okay, it's not always correct. فيعني we need to think about ايه اللي هو definitely correct answers. Okay. ماشي. يلا moving on to the next question. يلا. حلو. A diver is swimming underwater. She uses a torch emitting red light. Three rays coming out of this red light. State the name of the dashed lines. ايه هم الداشت لاينز؟
نورمال لاينز.
نورمال.
طبعا normal lines. Normal lines. The critical angle is 48. State the name or state the meaning of the term critical angle. حلوة. State the meaning of the term the critical angle. What do I mean by the critical angle?
an, an angle of incidence from the more dense medium at which the refracted ray moves along the surface of the berry.
صح. Excellent. Okay. This is a really good answer. يبقى I have to say I have to say that it is an angle of incidence. You must say it. You must write it down. An angle of incidence. At which, okay. Oh, you said that it's an angle of incidence from the more dense medium. Okay, that's even better. From the more dense medium. At which ايه بقى؟ At which the refracted ray refracted ray moves along the barrier. Okay. Oh, at which the refracted ray has an angle. Okay. You can say it has an angle of what? Of 90 degrees. Okay. Refracted angle of refraction is 90 degrees. 90 degrees means that it moves along the surface. خلاص. This is the critical angle. It's a crucial. عشان كده that's why we called it critical angle. طيب. Draw the path of each ray after it reaches the water-air boundary. 20 degrees. What will happen when the angle of incidence is 20 degrees?
The angle of refraction had move away from the normal line.
صح? To move away from the normal line. An angle has to be greater than 20. كده. طب يا مستر what is the angle يا مستر انا I don't know whatever عايزين تعملوها 40. طب هو do we have to measure the angle of refraction in this question؟ لا. You're not required to measure the angle of refraction in this question. بس خلاص. That's it. That's it. طب what about the 40? It will increase بس even more than the previous one. يعني مثلا ايه I will increase it كده. خلاص. This bends even more. Okay, this first one it bent مثلا 40 degrees 30 degrees whatever. It has to be just a little bit more than 20. ال 40 it has to bend even more. Okay, 70 بقى 80 degrees whatever, it doesn't matter. I just as an examiner I just need to see that the second one is larger. It has a larger refraction than the first one. What about the 60 degrees?
توتال انترنال ريفلكشن.
جامد. total internal reflection. يعني ايه total internal reflection؟ ليه؟ Why did the total internal reflection occur؟
Angle is greater than the critical angle.
The angle of incidence is greater than the critical angle. هنا it has to be كده. It has to move this way. The angle it should be 60 الانجل of reflection أو total internal reflection, it has to be 60 degrees. Okay, internal reflection, total internal
مستر
reflection. نعم.
انا مش فاهمة الحتة دي.
مش فاهم الحتة دي again اللي هي 60 degrees صح؟
اه
طيب what is the critical angle for this question? For this medium critical angle كام؟
48.
طيب again what does critical angle mean? Critical angle means for example let's draw another ray. If another ray was incident at the surface and the angle of incidence هنا was 48 degrees, the angle of incidence هنا it was what? 48 degrees. What will happen to this ray? It will move along the surface it will move تعالى نعملها تاني. It will move along the surface كده. Okay, if it was 48 degrees يبقى this is a critical angle. Okay, why? Because the angle of refraction was 90 degrees صح? Because the angle of refraction was 90. This is called a critical. This is the critical angle. طيب what if the angle of incidence is greater than the critical angle? There's a rare phenomenon that happens. What is this phenomenon? Is that the angle of reflection out there. There is no angle of refraction but now. No rays will be refracted. All of the rays will be reflected back inside the medium with an angle equal equal to the angle of incidence. يبقى هنا 60 it has to be equal to the 60. If it was 75 خلاص the angle of reflection will be 75. That's the whole point of the total internal أنا wrote it down. Total internal reflection. Are there any rays that emerge from the water? Are there any rays that go outside the water? لا. If it was 20 or 40 normal refraction would happen any normal refraction يبقى the rays will go out عادي. Why? Because the angle is less 40 and 20 they are less than the critical angle. طب what happens if the angle increases above the critical angle? Total internal reflection, meaning that all of the rays will be reflected back inside the medium. Okay, I hope that helped.
اوكي ثانك يو يا مستر.
Enough. Anytime. ماشي. 4 types of waves. Questions choosing words from this. State which of these types are electromagnetic. يلا.
infrared ومايكرو وراديو.
Infrared and microwaves طبعا and the radio waves. Which of the electromagnetic waves has the longest wavelength?
الراديو.
طبعا الراديو يا شباب has the longest wavelength. State 2 types of waves that can travel through a vacuum.
infrared
مم.
ومايكرويفز.
microwaves.
Okay. Can someone say infrared and radio waves? صح. Again يعني you just need to write down. ماشي. I need to state which of these types is used to produce an image of an unborn baby.
ultrasound.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. Yes, ultra sound. يلا. State 2 uses for infrared waves.
ريموت كنترول.
remote controls و security checks.
لا مش security checks.
intruder alarms.
Intruder alarms, yes. Remote control and intruder alarms. Okay. Security checks we use the X-rays خلي بالكم. We use the X-rays. طيب indicate whether types are transverse ولا longitudinal. Infrared.
transverse.
طبعا. Microwaves.
transverse.
Ultrasound.
longitude.
longitudinal. It has to be longitudinal. والradio waves have to be ايه بقى؟
transverse.
transverse طبعا. yes. Okay. Any electromagnetic wave يا شباب. Any electromagnetic wave must be transverse. Okay. ماشي. حلو question ده. Calculate the number of turns on the secondary coil. How can I calculate the number of turns on the secondary coil? What do I have? I have the primary voltage. I have the primary number of coils. I have the secondary voltage. How will I find the number of turns? يلا. الإيكويشن طبعا is
VP over NP equals VS over NS.
VP over NP equals VS over NS. احنا we have everything other than the NS. يلا. ال VP is input voltage is كام؟
240.
وال NP is يلا
12.
NP is
8,000.
8000. ال VP أو ال VS is now 12. I need to find the NS. يلا cross multiplication 8000 times 12 divided by 240.
400.
صح. Hmm. Quite easy يا شباب. Any questions? Any question؟
مستر بي بي كانت ايه؟
تاني.
كانت بتستاند فور ايه؟
حلو. VP اللي هو ايه؟ VP primary voltage. primary voltage. NP يعني ايه NP number of turns in the primary coil اهو. number of turns فين في البرايمري coil. طيب VS secondary voltage اهو. VS اللي هو ايه؟ ال secondary voltage. V يعني voltage S يعني secondary. NS اللي هو ايه؟ number of turns. number of turns in the secondary coil. ماشي. in the secondary coil. ماشي. State the name of the device shown.
Step down transform.
صح. step down transformer. حلو. The device includes two coils. State the material used for the coil. For the coil.
iron. iron.
Iron غلط.
Copper.
Coil I
ازاي؟
have to use copper. شباب, what if I say what is the material used for the core?
Iron.
iron.
metal
iron.
core
انا
is
مش
iron. صح.
اتلخبطت.
عادي. هنا I have to use iron. لكن usually the coils are made of copper. Okay. بس if you say iron it would be wrong. ماشي. The 12 volt lamp is disconnected. Two 6-volt lamps and a 12-volt motor are connected between A and B. The potential difference across each lamp is 6 volts and the potential difference across the motor is 12 volts. Draw on figure 8.2 to show how they are connected. This is a tricky question. Okay, it's a tricky question. Direct motor DC motor. يعني احنا هنرسم, احنا we draw الموتور. شباب, how do we draw a motor? Okay, how do we draw this motor? We just هي كده M. بس that's it. Okay, احنا we draw it with an M. بس that's it. That's the whole point. Again, it's a circle with an M inside it, indicating that it is a motor. How do we draw this circuit? Any suggestions? يعني, I know it's a bit difficult, but do you have any suggestions?
ممكن تبقى series.
هو ايه اللي
ممكن
سي؟
السيركت تبقى series.
طيب. لا, it will not be series. تعالوا بصوا كده. انا I will show you initially. What's the output voltage? What is the secondary voltage in this question? Secondary voltage is what?
12.
12 volts. طيب, what do I mean by secondary voltage is 12 volts? For example, it's as if I'm saying that I have a battery هنا. You do not draw this battery. Okay? It's as if I'm saying that I have a battery which is 12 volts. Okay? To be more accurate, it's not actually a battery. Okay? To be more accurate, it's not actually a battery. What is it? It's a power source. Okay? And it's an AC power source. Okay? A transformer always gives off what? AC, alternating current. Okay? But anyway, it's as if it's a battery which is giving off 12 volts. طيب, الكويستشن ايه؟ الموتور has to have an input voltage of what? Of 12 volts. The motor has to have an input voltage of 12 volts. يعني ايه؟ هنا I have the motor. I will connect the motor between points A and B. I will connect the motor between points A and B in series عادي. يبقى this motor will receive a voltage of 12 volts. This motor will receive a voltage of 12 volts. What about the lamps? Each lamp requires a voltage of 6 volts. بصوا كده. Each lamp requires a voltage of 6 volts. طيب, do not draw this. Okay, do not draw this. What will happen if I draw the lamps this way? What will happen if I draw the lamps in this connection كده?
They will get the same amount of voltage.
Which is what?
12.
12. يعني كده the motor will receive 12 volts, the lamps will receive 12 volts, which is wrong for this question. Each lamp requires what? Each lamp requires 6 volts. يبقى this connection is wrong. Do not draw this connection. How should I draw it بقى? How should I draw them?
هنحط ال two lamps يعني جنب بعض.
In series. Oh. Two lamps, they will be in series. ايه ده ليه؟ Okay. Why will both of these lamps be in series? بصوا يا شباب. The input voltage is 12 volts. صح؟ When the input voltage is 12 volts, what happens if I put two lamps in series? Each lamp will receive 6 volts. عشان the voltage is, if you can remember the difference between the series and the parallel circuits, the voltage in the series circuits gets divided. هقول لكم على حاجة. If I had, for example, 3 lamps, do not draw this, okay? Do not draw this. If I had, for example, 3 lamps, what would have happened? Each lamp would have received 4 volts. Oh, 4 volts. ليه؟ عشان the voltage, the total voltage, which is 12 volts, would have been divided onto each lamp. Okay, so 12 divided by 3 is 4 volts. Each lamp would receive 4 volts. لكن the initial one, okay, which is the correct one, احنا we have 2 lamps. Each lamp will receive 6 volts. يبقى both of them, they are in series. What if I had, for example, 6 lamps in series? يبقى each lamp will receive 2 volts. إيه ده ليه? Because 12 divided by 6 would be 2 volts if I had 6 lamps. If I had 12 lamps in series, each lamp will receive 1 volt. 12 divided by 12. يبقى basically a series circuit. What happens in the series circuit? The voltage gets divided. يا شباب, the voltage gets divided. But when the voltage gets divided, what happens to the current? A current decreases. Doesn't matter. I don't care about the current. Okay, but the voltage gets divided. In the parallel circuits, لا, the parallel circuits is the complete opposite. In the parallel circuits, they all receive the same voltage. Okay, they receive the same voltage. Okay, it's a tricky question. Besides, I like these questions. These are the questions of variant 3. Okay, هو variant 3 بيجي كده. This is variant 3. Okay, it has to be tricky. It has to be شوية out of the box. Okay, it has to be a bit out of the box. ماشي, حلو. Moving on to next question. State the quantity that a voltmeter measures.
Volt.
Voltage, صح? Voltage, potential difference, electromotive force, whatever, they all have the same meaning. Okay, voltage. لو حد عايز يقول potential difference اوكي. حد عايز يقول EMF electromotive force يعني they're all the same. EMF يعني ماشي. The switch is closed. Okay. The switch is closed. State the name of the type of particle that flows in the metal wires. طبعا the only particle that can flow is the
electron.
electrons. State the name of instrument that measures the current.
ammeter.
طبعا. The reading is 4 volts. The current how measure. Calculate the current in the 10 ohm resistor. Calculate the current in the 10 ohm resistor.
Intensity equals voltage over resistance.
I
تبقى 4 over 10
is V over R.
0.4.
4 over 10 0.4 بس صح. Calculate the current. I have the voltage. I have the resistance. Determine the current in the 20 ohm resistor. قول لي. قول.
هو ممكن
ثانية. انت بتقول ايه؟
انا كان عندي سؤال بس اجاوب يعني.
قول.
0.2.
لا.
هي 0.4
هي 0.4 زي ما هي.
صح. ليه؟ why is it 0.4؟
series circuit.
series بيبقى دايما اللي هو
صح برافو. yes okay because it's a series circuit. this is series. يعني ايه series circuit؟ يعني it's the same wire. It's the same wire. يبقى the same current at any point. If I have an ammeter هنا, if I have an ammeter هنا, if I have an ammeter at any point يا شباب, the current will be the same. So هنا he said 0.4 amperes. هنا it will be 0.4 amperes. This point at this point, whatever point in this circuit, the current will remain constant. Okay? ماشي. Okay? Any questions? Any questions?
مستر هو في سؤال سي اي هو
Hmm.
بيدينا 3 درجات عشان المفروض نكتب الرول نفسه كمان صح مش بالارقام
Yes
بس.
طبعا. You have to write the rule. You have to substitute to the correct numbers and then you have to find the correct final answer. 3 marks. طيب. The 10 ohm resistor is replaced by a 15 ohm resistor and the 20 ohm resistor is also replaced by a 15 ohm resistor. State the effect of any on the current. Explain your answer. State the effect of any answer. State the effect of the current on your answer.
هو
No
I
difference.
think the current will stay the same عشان same total resistance.
Same total resistance. حلو قوي. هو هنا the total resistance was what? Was 10 plus 20, which is 30 ohms. ماشي. Okay, that's the initial resistance. هنا I will replace the 10 with a 15 ohm resistor and the 20 with a 15 ohm resistor. يبقى the total resistance is 15 plus 15, which is also 30 ohms. يبقى did the resistance change? No. The resistance didn't change. يبقى when the resistance doesn't change, يبقى will the current change? لا. It will stay the same. It will stay the same. ليه؟ علشان the total current is the same. The same. عشان the total resistance is the same. Okay. Total resistance remains the same.
طب لو التوتال اتغيرت.
حلو. If the total resistance increases, what happens to the current?
decreases.
Decreases. If the total resistance decreases, what happens to the current?
increase.
Increases. بس. صح؟ طيب جميل. برافو عليكم. State 3 types of electromagnetic radiation.
gamma rays وبيتا particles وألفا particles.
Gamma rays, beta particles, and alpha particles. ماشي. اوكي. يلا. Alpha, beta, and gamma. State the nucleon number.
35.
35 17 18.
35. البروتون نمبر ماشي 17. How can I find the بقى النيوترون نمبر؟
18 ماينس بقى.
35 minus 17.
يس برافو. 18 نيوترون صح. برافو. Complete the sentence. Complete the
Electrons.
sentence. ها.
electrons.
Neutral atom, the number of protons is always equal to the number of electrons. برافو عليكم يا شباب. برافو عليكم. ماشي. خلاص احنا الامتحان خلص.